Hi, Alyssa. How you doing? So I've got you queued up here, and I want to take a look at the presentation. So excuse me. So I've got. Let's see. We got your opening page, um, and I'm just going to keep this open over here on the side, just so I can refer to these notes as I go through your presentation. So basically, you've done all of this. You've done this dialogue thing, which is good. The one thing that, oh, sorry, the one thing I didn't see is I did not see. Okay, there it is. Okay, the one thing I didn't see is I didn't see where you addressed your sequencing, because this assignment is about sequencing. So at this point in the presentation, you should have all your pieces finished. Um, and now at this point, it's time to start deciding in what order do I show my work. And showing your work in a random order is typically a mistake, because there could be a more reasonable and rational um, you know, way for you to show your work according to the person you're showing it to, as opposed to kind of just like putting it together and saying, here's my work. You sequence it and you time it so that you can talk about it, and how can I make my presentation more personal to the person I'm showing it to. One of the reasons is, if I'm showing it to a magazine publisher, I'm going to put all my magazine pieces first. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm going to direct my cover letter towards magazine design. I'm going to direct my resume towards magazine design. I noticed that in your writing you had elected to make this decision of not showing um, your resume. And where was that? I am not. I decided not to add my resume and business card, since I would be handing those to the employer separately. That's an enormous mistake. Just enormous mistake. Don't assume that things are going to go the way that, typically, in a perfect world, yes, they call you in for an interview, you sit down with the employer, you hand them your resume and your business card, and they look at it and they go, oh, this is awesome, can I look at your portfolio? And you sit down and show your portfolio. That is not how it works at all. What you do first is you show them. Typically you'll find an ad, and when you see the ad, you dissect the ad. You take the ad apart and you decide what parts of the ad you can use. Then you write your cover letter accordingly. You send your cover letter along with, I would suggest you send your cover letter along with your business card and your in your company letterhead, your designer's letterhead. So you have your cover letter on your letterhead with your business card, your designer's business card, in your designer's envelope. Pretty impressive. So my point is, they're going to have to see this. They're going to see this long before you're sitting down in front of somebody. Long before that. So will you have a chance to hand your resume and business card? At one point, eventually, yes, you will. But don't assume that the person that you're interviewing is going to be looking at that stuff for the first time. Okay? Hope that made sense. I know it was long-winded. Sorry about that. I've been drinking coffee. Anyways, back to your PDF. Okay, my main goal is I'm a graphic designer. The designs I create that designs creative and innovative pieces. My main goal is to create pieces that are specifically targeted to demographic intended for each piece. That's important to mention that, because it shows you understand what is behind design. As far as a visual at this point, I think this is too much. This big circle, it's too much. I would design just a simple monogram. That way you're not having to take up your whole page with this big giant, logo. Even if you shrink this down, the circle is going to still take up a huge point there. Now And then you go from a white background, a white type on this color background to black type on the color background. That's weird. Why don't you keep it consistent? I'm not crazy about this big swoosh down here. I don't see any reason for it. I also think that you should consider a horizontal orientation for your pages. It seems like a lot of your work falls horizontally, or at least looks like it may be more suitable in a horizontal. Like all of this stuff can be really, really stretched out, and you don't have to really jam things together like this in this this vertical orientation. Okay, so I'm thinking of a longer and wider orientation for your page, something like that, as opposed to something like that. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so the words, these look good, but I noticed one thing that you're saying: the team may be a St. Patrick's Day, wanted to be created for 7-Eleven Hawaii for their green tea macaroons. Okay, that's cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. This looks really good. I think that that's a nice, really nice way to prepare how you're going to talk to this piece. And I think that's important. I think you understand, you're showing that you understand how to talk about your work. It's so important. Let me take it a step further. I say to you, you're sitting in front of me, you show me this. I say, what typeface is this and why? Okay, and if you don't have an answer, we have a problem. Same thing with this. If I say, Alyssa, what typeface is this right here in this little headline down here? And if you don't know, I'd be thinking to myself, well, it's your design. You should have a know. If you do know, the interviewer is going to be impressed as hell, and that's what you're looking to do, is impress that interviewer. So really, really know your work inside and out. Okay. Everything looks great. I think your work looks phenomenal. This is just, it's clashing so horribly with all your work. And that's one of the reasons why way back at the beginning of Portfolio, I mentioned several times that, the best thing to do is show your work on if not sorry about that. If not a white background, then a very neutral background, something like a very, very light gray or a very light tan, something extremely neutral. This is not a neutral color, and that's why it's so difficult to place work in front of this color, especially more than one piece, because you don't have the luxury of, once you pick that color, it's there. The other colors clash with it, you have a problem. Let me show you an example. This, for example, you have a lot of colors here that aren't working with this. It's not making it likewise here, here. It's here and here. Here and here. Here and here. Again, that green and that, and so on and so forth. So the more neutral you can keep your background pages, the better. I think the work looks awesome. I think it looks really squished together, because right now we're showing it on, which I'm going to guess is 8.5 by 11, and it is, yes. So think about this. All right, it's 8.5 by 11. Once you take this away, okay, and this, I would just say, just design a logo and keep your page simple. After all, the work is the star and should be the star, and the background should be the supporting cast. Okay, so I'm trying to make it neutral, describe the piece, and I wouldn't use any center aligning at all. I would use all left align type. And give, I think a really great formula would be to put your logo up here, right up there, show your work in a consistent spot on each page. You know what I mean? Like here, like if on every page you would show your work in this area right here. Okay, and the rest would just be the white area with your logo and a little description right there lined up with your logo about the work. Okay, and keep it really neutral like that. Excuse me one second. Excuse me. Do you see what I'm saying? So we'll have this really nice harmony. You won't have these color um, battles going on. That's a cool piece. And like I said, I mean, I keep looking at your work. Going, wow, that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. So, and that's my suggestion for moving into the very final presentation. Don't forget that resume and that business card, and don't forget it's a identity system. So you should have minimum um, logo, business card, letterhead, and number 10 envelope. Okay, thanks.